Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of building my dream theme park. As you can see there, right off the bat, I went ahead and made the magic carpet ride named to Magic Carpet, and it was suggested by many of you down in the comments and on my Discord. Actually, when I read I read it for the first time, I was like, no, you can't be serious. I actually had to ask if you were taking the mick or not, and obviously you guys were. Uh, so there you go. There is one ride named named the Magic Carpet. So it has been a while. This video has taken about over a week to film, mainly because this part of this this part of my project was really difficult to do. I spent a lot of times I find myself like starting all over again, and it just never works. And I've never been good at building in Planet Coaster, like in theming and scenery and buildings and stuff like that. But I've always, been a sucker for the coaster aspect. And this queue line changes about 4 times. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And so does this exit path. But it has been a good learning curve. It was a good journey to take. Just because like I said, I was never the best, and I still aren't the best at building. But I guess that's kind of what Planet Coaster is. No one's going to be the best at something as soon as you start doing it. And I know a lot of people have that mentality, because I definitely do. If if I'm doing something for the first time, and I'm not immediately good at it, then I just give up. But I kept patience with this build. I kept persevering through, and just planned it a bit more out in my head, because that's something I don't really do. I don't really plan it. I kind of just build and see what happens, because I prefer that way of building for some reason. But yeah, you gotta be patient with this game, because it can be very time consuming, as shown here. This is taking me a week to do, and I think if I had to estimate how many hours, I think this might be around 11 hours you're watching. That is being sped up to about 50 minutes. So yeah, I did spend and did take some time to do this. So I hope you guys can appreciate that, and I hope you guys can enjoy. And if you are enjoying this little commentary running thing I'm doing, let me know down in the comments, because it will mean the world to me if you like this type of content. I certainly do. I love making this series. It's a great one. And also, I am most likely going to start a Christmas series on the 1st of December. So I'm going to make a Christmas theme park. Would you like that? Would you like to be included in that somehow? Just let me know. Let me down in the comments if you would like to see that happen, because I think that would be quite awesome, actually. But right, as you can see now, just talk about what's going on in the video. I didn't know you could do this. Well, I technically did, but also didn't. Just behind... Oh, you can't really see it now, can you? But in that splashdown section before, I have it actually going underneath the water level itself. And I think in the original game, it had no effect. So what I mean is, when the coaster train went in it, it didn't have any water particles. It had no friction. But actually, this time, it does. And I was really surprised about that. As you'll see later on in the video, you can actually see it have these water effects, and in the thumbnail as well, actually. But right now, I thought to get it out of the way and done with, I thought I should start designing the coaster trains. Even though they are already pretty nicely and well themed already, I took a lot of inspiration from. Oh no, this is where my pronunciation goes wrong. Um, is it uh Village of Hollander? I don't know. I think it's like from Efteling. Basically the boat ride, not Fata Morgana. I know how to say that one. Definitely not that one, but the other one. A lot of inspiration with that. I liked having the what are they called, the little lanterns on the coaster cart from the front and the back, just to create like a sense of illusion. No, maybe not illusion, just a bit more atmosphere. And as you can see, I'm putting in these texts to mainly mark out what trains what. I'm not sure why I did this. I think in my head, I was like, oh, I kind of want this to be a little bit realistic. So I decided to put the train numbers on it for some reason. Don't know why. It's definitely not the realistic thing I've ever built before. I went for it. And here we go. This is the I really don't remember what this was. But I started to build the foundation of the building. And because the coaster is at a weird, like, skew-if angle, it was not easy whatsoever. And my vision I had in my head, I had it in my head, obviously, but, like, how do you explain this? It's quite difficult to explain. But, like, when you're building in Planet Coaster, it's it's like Minecraft. It's, in a way, because it's just squares and rectangles, and you've got to line them up for it to look perfect. And that's what something this game kind of like. It annoys me. But it's bearable, obviously. But it annoys me because it's just little things like that where I wish you can have different sort of style of grid. As you can see, it's only a square grid. Why not have something else, if that's even possible? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, this once you watch this video through the end, please do stick around, because you can like see, you can almost like envision what's going in my head, and kind of what's like going like, okay, that's wrong. That's obviously wrong. I need to change that. Like this here, like it's just wrong. It's just a bit of criticism as well. That exit path snaps to the inverted commas middle, but when you are placing a wall down, it's not the middle. Very weird, very weird. I did notice a couple bugs whilst doing this. If they pop up on this in this video, I'll do my best to point it out. And speaking of bugs, how's your guys' experience of Planet Coaster going? Have you experienced the stuff like I have? Have you lost parks as well? Because I certainly have. They just disappeared. And I brought it up with the not the dev team, but I got in contact with Frontier, and they said they'd speak to the dev team and have a meeting about it. So hopefully that can get through to them. And here's my example of you kind of have to build in squares. So you saw me lining it up on the advanced movement like this here. As you can see, it's not on a grid, but now it's on a grid. That's just because it's a scenery piece, scenery building. But how cool would it be if it was just all one big grid? As you can see here, it doesn't quite line up, and you have to go through the painstaking task to line it up properly. But yeah, it's just something that I wish could be a thing. I'm not sure if it can or anything. But you can see me figuring it out. It does take me quite a while to figure it out about like the wall height pieces to make it match the station. And now looking back at it, I don't think it really needed to. But I am so relieved that I've finished this, because oh my god, the it wasn't really. guess it was sort of stress. It was the stress that I needed to get this video out. Like I wanted to get this over and done with, because this was such a big project, and I really just like wanted to wake up and not be like, oh, still need to do that video, still need to build the same building, because it's just it takes so long, especially when you're not a good builder like me. I hope a lot of people can relate to that. I know, like Sean Sandbrook, he's an amazing builder. Like for someone who doesn't play the game as much as me, he's insane. Like I used to watch his Planet Coaster videos back like 3-4 years ago. I think that's how long it was. But yeah, he like spend not much time and make some insane builds. I can't fathom it. I personally can't do as well as he can. But I'm looking up to. He is my he is my hero. No, not quite. He's just a Sean Sandbrook. He's a funny guy. I don't know how he's got on to talking about Sean Sandbrook, but we have. So I think in the previous build, or the previous episode, sorry, we did the technical stuff for the coaster, I think. If not, it will be in this video. I can't tell you if it... I think it is in the previous video. But as you can see here, you can sort of see the visions I've had where I wanted the coaster track to interact with the building itself. So it's going to have dark ride elements, such as, again, probably the worst pronunciation, Village of Hollander. Sort of like, spoiler alert, by the way, sort of like when you get dispatched and you're in that little, like, it's not really a pre-show, is it? It's just like the scenes you go in, all the lightning and the massive boats. I really wanted to do something like that. I just feel like that it just like creates such a really mysterious and really creepy atmosphere. I did my best to replicate it, but towards the end of the video, I kind of got a bit fed up, so I rushed a lot of things. So I possibly might do a lot more theming on the inside, off camera, mainly because I was like, it's good, it's there, it doesn't need anything else. But to make it like premium quality, I might do it then. Here's another example of that squares. I wish we can have, like, as you can see, it's kind of like a jagged edge, and you just have to do the long process. It's really annoying. But it would be really nice if we could have triangles. Like, you could see in the tab there, you sort of got triangles, but they're like smoothed. But if we had triangles, oh my god, I think really unique builds will appear. Mainly because, like, when you do stuff like this, as you can see what I'm doing right now, all the textures kind of, they try to both overlap each other to be both seen at the same time, and it creates this like static effect. And a brilliant idea to stop that is by putting in these wall pieces, so it's less obvious from looking at it from below that there's loads of them, but you can still tell. Because obviously you don't want it sticking out the wall as well, which is another problem. Here's where the triangles will come in handy. As you can see, the textures just overlap each other and it kind of looks a bit weird. But I thought to myself, well, no one's really going to see it. So what's really the point of like doing it perfectly? And that's what I kind of executed towards the end of the video where I'm doing the roof. It probably was impossible to synchronize the whole roof together, mainly because of just how weirdly I designed it. Definitely, like, I learned so much from this. I'm definitely going to build the facade first, and then do the coaster or dark ride or whatever, because you could just see how much of a shambles it's going right now. But a lot of it just get changed. Um, or if it doesn't get changed, it kind of gets like reimagined, almost, such as Nemesis at Nemesis at Nemesis at Nemesis. Yes, well done. This is Aaron at 10 o'clock speaking for you. uh, no, I mean like Nemesis, and then to Nemesis Reborn, same ride, just redone. Anyway, enough waffling. Um, but here you can see, I think it's, what's it called, the panel walls. If you just change the walls to black, it creates a really nice dark atmosphere. Like you really can't see anything through these walls. Whereas if you use like a normal wall, you can, like, light will appear through it, which is a bit odd in my opinion. Um, Props to Frontier. As you can see in that corner there, you can see light still poking through. But props to Frontier for actually making light physics, because that wasn't a thing in the previous game. You had to have these. I can't remember what they're called, but they were like this. I don't know, sort of like a control box, and you had to make it a trigger on the coaster, and once it went through the trigger, it would either turn to nighttime or daytime. It was so weird, but I'm glad they've like done a really good job with the lighting in this game. Still a bit weird in some places, but that could just be due to obviously my experience of this game so far. That could just be you know I need to do a lot more like research and learning about it, because it takes a lot of research in this game to make good things. I'm sure you'd see loads of tutorials on how to make a good roller coaster. And on that note, if I made that type of video, would you be up for watching that? If I did like a little bit of episodes how to use the queue line paths, or how to make a good and realistic roller coaster, because that's something I definitely would like to do. On a side note here, I uploaded a short where I changed the color of the track from blue to purple, I think it was, and it kind of like did it again and again. So let me think of an example of a coaster that does that. Let's go with Rita, the UK's worst roller coaster, by the way. But that's not the topic right now. But Rita, because obviously they can't build above the tree height, Rita's highest point is on the tree line, so they have to paint it green, and then the rest of it red. So basically, imagine that, but every other piece. So one is green, one is red. That's what I did in my short, but obviously different colours. And people were quite stunned and shocked that I could do that. It seemed like no one knew that existed, and that existed in the previous game. It's just you have to do a little bit of experimenting with this, the new one, because you still have a lot of features from the old game. They're just a bit more difficult to access. So once you're editing, once you're on the construction mode, when you're building a ride, you want to go over to the edit mode, select the track that you want to change color, and I think you go to the far corner, I assume. I don't think I go back on editing this coaster again, I don't think. I might do, but I don't think I do. But it's in, I think it's in the settings tab, where you can change it. And it's for some reason called slots. As you can see there, it's called slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, where it should just be called color 1, color 2, color 3, because that's not obvious what that is until you actually look at the actual color. Doing these walls here really tricky. They were really weird to understand, but I had a great idea in my head. Like, again, no one's gonna see this side of the facade, so I can just spam a bunch of trees and call it a day. And most of you are probably thinking, and this is what I was definitely thinking, this is just a massive wooden box. And I was thinking that too. It really got me down because obviously I'm not the best builder. and I was just kind of building it and being like, yo, I'm not actually good at this. So yeah, but I did persevere. It's always good to try get yourself out of that headspace because it is bad, and you know, mental health is a really big thing for me. Not just mine. I mean, like other people's as well. If you need to vent, just vent down in the comments, and you know, I'll help you guys as much as I can. Maybe you're struggling with school. Maybe you got your GCSEs. You know, I can try to relate to it. Besides the point, that's not what this video is for. Not what this video is for. Here we go. So I've sped this bit up a bit. This is now on times, I think, 15. This is 3 hours work, I think, maybe 2. This is nothing special. This is why I sped it up. So I'm just doing the inside of this massive wooden box, and really struggled with this. As you can see, I kept going to the menu because I thought I was doing something wrong. To step back for a minute. As you can see, really quickly, I'm just putting in a massive black, just like dark ride area. That's just what I wanted. And I sped it up because I don't think it was necessary, and it took many attempts, and I don't want to show you guys just me doing a queue line path for 15 hours. And as you can see, I'm redoing this queue line path again and again and again. Then I eventually started to move on, I think. Yeah, I started to move on to the bits where it kind of interacts with the ceiling or the roof of the facade. I just basically did the same thing as before. I just basically put all that black panel in, and later on in this video, I put in some really cool mist effects. I like the mist effects in this version of the game. It looks a lot better. As you can see, still redoing the queue line path and doing the queue line. It took a lot of trial and error. Some stuff that I wanted to do just wasn't working. And eventually, I didn't give up, but I just didn't have any motivation to make the queue line or the exit to the queue line look any good whatsoever. So I left it for a couple of days, and that was it. Yeah, that was it. There you go. I left for a couple of days. This is me coming back to it. Sort of like, I don't know, with the refreshment in my head. Sort of like, come on, I can do this. I can do this a lot better. But realistically, I couldn't do this. I'm pretty sure I started that roof and I never even finished it. And as you can see, I put that carousel in. By the end of the video, you never guess what's in there. So don't skip to the end. Just wait and see what I put down. Because write down in the comments what you think I put there. Because I bet you won't guess. And I wouldn't even guess if I was a viewer. It was quite random, actually. But it actually works quite well, and I enjoyed it. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I went for lunch at this point. So you will just see this. Yeah, there you go. I'm back now. I'm back from having some scran. And here's just me putting in the second wall. Yes, I did cover up the carousel. That's mainly because I wanted to put the wall in first, and then put in like the queue line, and then I can see what wall piece it's going to line up with. Learning from my mistakes from before when building the ride first and then putting the facade in. That's not the way to do it. I highly recommend you do not do that. And whilst I was building, I noticed that, hang on a minute, this is supposed to actually be brick, since, as you can see, there's 2 layers of brick, and then it's the wood. Here's where the drawing tool comes in clutch. Look at that. Perfect, easy. One of the best features in the game. Absolutely adore it. But also, sometimes it has stuff like this, where it just doesn't work sometimes. And that's okay. It's just trial and error, like I said. And those doors get replaced. Like, you can tell it's a shambles, and it's still just a box. Nothing's really happened in theming-wise. I'm still building. That's why that's why I'm like I get really bored of this game sometimes, because sometimes it can just be building, and the coaster or the flat ride can take like 5 minutes. Okay, maybe not 5 minutes, but you know what I mean. It can take a lot quicker. But it's good life skills to have in this game. It's just a lot of patience. It's a good life skill, and I reckon it will get you far in life if you take that into consideration. God, yes. So I thought my envision's just still in my head of having shops inside this facade. Not many. I think I added in the end was that Chief Beef Burger thingy bob, and milkshake thing, staff room, and 2 other things. That toilet gets removed for something else, which I'm going to keep a secret until the end of the video, or when actually decide to replace it. Here's just like me changing the entrances and exit for the water coaster. I should probably definitely do the theming inside the queue line itself, but it was just so hard, and I wanted to do something else, so I focused on this instead. So I kept looking at this from different angles, and I was just looking, it looks so bad, just this brick wall, and it just doesn't look very good whatsoever. So I thought to carry the trend over from like the other side of the park, or just before this bit of the park. I wanted to carry the trend over of these lovely massive spikes. They look really good. They cover up a lot of space, and it just gives you something to look at. And when I was putting these lights in, I was like, oh yeah. And then I looked back, and they just looked stupid. They looked horrendous. Just made a new word up there. Horrific, that's the word I was supposed to say. And now it looks a lot better. There was way too many of them, and they looked way too symmetrical. And again, here with my favourite fencing. This cobblestone slab thingy mabob, still yet to be named by me, even though it just says Viking fence number 3, I think it says. I'm not actually sure. But again, it just creates something to look at and creates more depth, because it's something that's coming out of the side of the wall. So it's not really just a plain flat wall. And that's what I've learned of building over the years, is having things pop out and having like different types of terrain level really makes a theme park. And that's what I'm going to do after this Viking section. I'm thinking of going into the another new theme. I don't know what its official terminology name is, but I think it's the aquatic theme. I think that would be quite nice. Or definitely in the mythology, because I have a little bit more time and experience with that theme, so I could probably get that done and dusted really quickly. And but I need to do the other side of this Vikings section first. But let me know down in the comments what you should what I should name this water coaster. The theme is basically just about boats, really. I mean, I didn't really have a set theme, or no, I had a set storyline in my head. It was more of just like, I know I wanted it to be like massive boats everywhere that are huge, and you're kind of in a storm, exactly the same as the ride at Efteling. Basically, just a rip-off. And I swear, if one of you guys comments down below, oh, you should name it that Efteling ride, I will actually cry. No, it'd be quite funny if I did. Just let's have some original content instead of like naming stuff like magic carpet. No, it was a good laugh. And as you can see, I'm just trying to figure out the queue line, because all the walls don't add up and they don't line up, and it really triggers me, and it really gets on my nerves. So I decided to put this fencing in. This is a different style of cobblestone wall. It sort of reminds me of like Midlands. What's it called? Off the top of my head, Stoke-on-Trent farmers fields, like you see those crumbling walls. These ones really remind me of them. I mean, the cobblestone ones before, sort of, yeah, but I don't think they're as big. These ones kind of remind me a lot more. I mean, like, I have such a surreal love of, like, when theme parks have these types of fencing and, like, walls. I have such a weird, surreal love for it. Like, Tomb Blaster at Chessington, in that queue line, the walls and stuff in there, and I don't know, I just fall in love with it. It's amazing. Here, this is not what this is supposed to be used for, but I thought this is quite cool. I only did it up to this point here. Like I said, I literally gave up because I just spent so much time doing a flipping queue line. I got so fed up with it. Yeah, this is supposed to be for like the top of a roof, for a building. But I liked the patterns that it had, and at the bottom it had like triangle spikes that looked rather nice, and then obviously the little like semicircles at the top. Again, obviously they're for a the top of a building, but I thought they went quite well. I really don't know why. And as you can see here, you could just hear like the monstrosity of a queue line. Like, I definitely should make the path next time wide enough, like so it's the same width as that ceiling or floor piece, whatever you want to call it, there. Because as you can see, everything's phasing through each other. It doesn't look right. But the thing is, yeah, you're not going to see that unless you just want to fly straight through the building. Because if you're just a normal guest and you're going through the queue line, then you'll be fine. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see all these silly mistakes. But you might point out a couple, actually, of mistakes from, like, ground level, maybe. I mean, that's what real theme parks do, you know. Like, if you... I'm gonna call out... What theme park should I call it? I'll call out Chessington again. If you go there and you ride... What ride can you see? If you go on Tiger Rock and you see the top of the facade for Tomb Blaster, you can actually see it's just a metal roof. There's no special fancy theming on top. It's just on the sides, because obviously no one's like 50 feet tall where they could see over the building. So that's all. That's that's the only bit that needs theming. You know. Sorry, my chair was. I had to adjust my chair then. So that's kind of what I was doing here. You know, I had that mentality of, you know, if this was a realistic theme park, I think it would be quite well executed, because, you know, no one's gonna see this, and that's okay. I hope you guys can take some inspiration and tips from this video as well, because, like you guys as well, it's a learning curve for me. But anyway, now we start on the station. I didn't really do too much to it. It was kind of more subtle theming pieces here and there. I did like this door, and you can sort of kind of see the effects of the lighting. That big flashing light there, that's me turning on the artificial light, just so I can actually see before I put in the the station lighting. Here, such as this bit here, where you can see it's really, really bright. Here's, I just did like the op booth, added in like a really small window and a door. You know, it does what it does. You know, it doesn't need to be any better than that. And these big like sections of the station that are just empty. Don't know why Frontier have done this. Why haven't they not changed that? Maybe because of this, actually, where you can put theming into it. But as you can just see, subtle theming pieces. They work far, and they work far. They go far. And this bit here, you can see I'm kind of like faffing about with the smoke here. I'd click one and it would not appear. And I had this on my Discord the other day. Someone asked me the question of like, oh, why can't I see the mist? And I thought at first, oh, maybe I couldn't see it because I was too close to it. But when I took it outside, and I got close to it, it was completely fine. I could still see it. And I figured out it's because you have the main beam light on there. As you can see, I've got the artificial light on. If you're in an enclosed room with that light on and you're trying to add mist or a smoke effect. No, I think it's just mist actually. It just disappears. I don't know why. But it is still there. Because I was confused when I saw the picture. I was like, he was like, "Hey man, what's going on? Do you know what this is?" And I was like, "No, sorry." So if you're watching this, that's a good tip for everyone to know. Here I'm just doing the first dark ride scene bit thing. I don't know what you called it. Just 3 main massive boats. I ended up doing these trigger sequences. So I have that that white section of that multicolored boat. I had that strobing where it's just the blue and the red will just flash on. To create like jump scares. But I completely forgot the lanterns on the boat. When you're on guest rider view, they actually create a light source, so it ruins the effect quite a lot because it lights up everything around you. But when you're not on the ride, it doesn't seem to light anything up. So annoyingly, I figured that out here. As you can see, you can subtly see things. You can have like a really weird lens flare. And I tried the track view, and that just didn't do it justice. So I eventually was like, you know what? I've done it. It's fine. Same with this. It's adding in subtle lighting in this queue line and queue line exit, because you don't typically need the fanciest thing in the world to make a good queue line. And no, by all means, this is not a good queue line whatsoever. This is a rather bad one. And don't quote me or what I'm saying about, oh yeah, you don't need a good queue line. You definitely do. Like in real life, you definitely do need a good queue line. But in this game, the guests are really really easily satisfied. In as some of you may know that they pay more on like the queue line. So if you just have like a normal dead queue line where there's nothing in there, there's no trees or anything, they won't pay, even if it's like £1, I think, or $1 or whatever you want to call it in this game. So yeah, it does actually kind of matter in this game, and I like that sense of realism as well. But finally, I've started work on the massive box. Oh my god, I spent so long doing just the inside of this. Just the inside of this stupid building. And it's like still at this moment in time, still not done. But here I'm carrying out the effect of having things pop out to create more depth of field. I think that's the word I want, and a bit of hierarchy. I think again that's kind of what I want. And at first I had this vision where it's like a balcony, but that simply got scratched like immediately. Because I added in these like slanted rooftop that could carry out to the next level up as well. I feel like that fit a lot better than having just like a block balcony, because it looked a bit silly. And here's what I'm talking about: how everything just doesn't line up, and it just got me really frustrated. But again, you only see it if you're a guest. Like this black wall out there is sticking out, but that's okay because there's covered by trees. No guest is gonna see it, and I'm certainly not gonna sit there and be like, "Hey, that's sticking out. This is a rubbish theme park." Like, look at it here. You don't see the top of the roof. Why do I need to do the top of the roof? Exactly. And I brushed past these earlier in this video, and I'm really glad I remembered to use them, because I actually haven't. Apologies, Sean Sandbrook. But I have only watched one episode of your theme park. But I saw a thumbnail the other day, and he was using them, and I went, "What? I didn't know these were in the game." Because I assumed those would just come under the building, in the building section, under the wall pieces, but they don't. I don't know what section they come under. I'm sorry if people were wondering, but if you just keep scrolling down in the infinite tab, you will eventually find them. They're quite obvious to find, but I just love them so much. They add like a lot of personality, I feel. And again, I'm still trying to incorporate these wall pieces with something, and I sort of did. As you can see, the top of it kind of worked really well as a like a wall roof trim, maybe that's maybe what you want to call it. Um, and then I've got the same cobblestone, not my favorite one, but I got a cobblestone one, and I kind of used it again just to add some variety, I think, because you're looking at the same texture in the cobblestone on the foundation cobblestone, and it's the same texture. So I thought adding in a different texture, but obviously the same like material, and obviously it's a darker color as well. It just created a lot more things to look at, and it complemented it quite a lot too. Um, Speaking of complementing, just looking at this, I was struggling to find ideas of what to put in, mainly because like those like window light pieces took up a lot of room, but at the same time it didn't take up a lot of room. There was a lot of space missing, and I don't know, it kind of pushed my buttons a little bit, so I had to figure it out in the end. And I think that's what I went for in the end. I don't think I changed it. I might have. I'm not too sure. I do not remember whatsoever. Even though I finished this today and I'm now voicing over this today, the same day. So that's my mind for you guys. As you can see here, again bringing in that thing where only the guests can see it. I thought, well, the guests can see it when they're on the ride. So I thought, why don't I add like this little, I don't know what you want to call it, but like, let's just imagine it's like another building on top of the building. Maybe it's a different level. There you go. It's a different level of the building. And it kind of restricts their view of the rest of the building. Of course, you could see it in front of you. But I think the guests will be mainly focusing on, the anticipation of going into the drop and all that stuff. As you can see, it's coming along nicely. I had that side of the building done, and then it was come to the other side of the building, which I was just dreading it so much. And as you can see there, I added in trees where errors were occurred. I just cover it up with a tree or a bush because it's just that simple. But here we go. Here is the dreaded other side of the building, and weirdly, I think that this was easier to like. I don't know. It wasn't easy to build, but it was easier to build than the other roof. This got me going there. That's what I'm saying. Like triangles, that would work. I'm telling you. It probably won't. To be fair, I'm just waffling. As you can see, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of what I could do. And yeah, it's a struggle with this game sometimes for me. But I did do this on purpose. I did come in with the ambition of making this massive facade building. I think I underestimated how difficult it'd be. Same thing with this here, about guests seeing how much they can see. Just creating these like elements where necessarily you're going to focus on, oh my god, I'm going to hit my head on this head chopper, but realistically you're not. But you're going to focus on that. You're not going to see the surroundings behind you. You're mainly going to be focusing on that drop. And if and looking at this on the horizon line, on the skyline, or whatever you want to call it, it looks really, really nice, especially like with the other levels of this building. It looks really nice. And I just wanted to add something else to this because it just looked a bit bare and plain. So I just added those subtle wall trims there. Or I think they're actually roof trims. I just put them on the wall. And then when I was looking at it, obviously this side of the wall was really bare. So I thought I'd just, instead of like thinking of something new, I'd just carry the trend over. So I carried this trend over with that weird like wall trim piece. Mainly because it's just, it's more simple. I already had the idea and it worked. But again, as you can see, I'm still trying to incorporate this with something. It just doesn't line up, which is very frustrating. So I just go back to the original. Yeah, I can't lie. It does create a quite unique effect there. Sort of like the the slanted roof is just perching on it when it's not at all. I managed to incorporate a different pattern there. I was completely wrong. I did do something different. I thought I did the same thing, silly me. But as you can see, I used the a pattern for like, I think the first time. I can't remember. Maybe in the other episodes I've used it. But this pattern seems to work quite well. And look how lovely that looks now. A lot of space has been filled in. And adding in those, like, I'm not really sure what they are. Maybe they're like cannon covers. Just adding those in on the cobblestone foundation or stone foundation really created a lot more something to look at, something that pops out, so it's not all the same thing. And here we go. This is very last minute. I fully admit this is a blueprint. I don't take credit for building this, but when I saw it, I thought this actually works really well, and I could fit that right there, and it sat on the horizon line, or the skyline, whatever you want to call it, and it just works really well. As you can see there, I didn't realise how popular that ride is going to be. So when I built that queue line, I thought, oh yeah, it's not going to be that busy, because even the coaster wasn't that busy. So trust me, it gets very busy. And I actually even had the bug where I had guests going into the ride, right? But instead of sitting down, they're levitating above their seat. And the ride will just not start whatsoever, and everyone will just get stuck. So Frontier, if you're watching this, probably not. Just another bug to try fix. As you can see here, I am doing the queue line. Just making it a little bit more, what's the word I want? A bit more, a lot longer, and a bit different from just like cattle pen. As you can see, I did question mark, question mark, question mark. That's because, let me guys know down in the comments what I should name that ride, that little top spin. It's a very unique top spin. And here we go. I added in a flipping pool in a building. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like crazy, but like, you know, how many I mean, now I ask a question, I can name a couple, but you know, how many theme parks is there a swimming pool just randomly plotted in a building? But I can't lie, you know, you've got your leisure centres and stuff. But I did just want to, you know, I don't think a ride would, you know, work. I don't think it'd be a good addition. So I thought maybe, you know, if I just add a pool, because this is the first time I've properly used it, because before I'm just like joking about with it. Like when I first started playing this game, I just was like joking about with it. So I had to make 2 changing rooms there, because they like started to pile up, but they didn't all go into the second one. Anyway, it was very weird. Yeah, so you could see me just experimenting of what I could do with it, like with the pools, having the wave machine. That's really cool. And I even saw a YouTube short the other day. If I can make some really steep waves, if you want to see that happen, just let me know in the comments, and I can try and make a video on it. But yeah, we are nearing to the end of the video. This commentary has gone quite quick, and I'm sorry for the waffling. But you know, it's hard. You know, getting into these types of videos, I have to talk for a long time. I am losing my voice doing this as well. Anyway, so the side of the walls looked bare again, mainly because obviously it's just this brick wall. You know, it doesn't look good. So I had to add in a little bit more depth as well. And I don't know why this changed. It went to grass, and then I had to change it, obviously, as you can see there. And I think this just looks really, really nice. And then I started to do shrubbery for this main skyline bit here over the water. Then I saw that a lot of guests were like needing to sit down, so I ended up adding in a bunch of benches, which looked really nice, where you can sit and just watch the coaster go round. Maybe sometime in the future I'll add some water effects as the coaster car goes round. That was definitely in my mind, but I 100% forgot about it. So I apologise for that. Maybe that's something I do off camera. I don't actually go on this go on this theme park, my dream theme park, when I'm not filming. I'm just saying I might just do this mainly because you know, you guys don't need to see the little stuff, if that makes sense. Like putting in these bushes here, you don't need to see this, do you? But here we go. This is the finished and final product. I was kind of like going around seeing what the best skyline is, and this was the perfect one. So I just want to say thank you for you guys making it this far in the video. I do appreciate it so much, and it would mean the world to me if you can comment something down below. Let's actually ask a question. What What's your favourite breakfast? Go on then. I'll say mine. Mine's scrambled eggs, sausages, and bacon. If not, it's Cheerios. Anyway, thank you guys for getting so far in this video. It does mean a ton. It is a longer video, and you know, I hope this video does well because it does take me a while to do this, and I put in a lot of effort. So yeah. And if you want to see me build the world's most dangerous theme park, click here. Go on, you know you want to. Oh, go on, you know you want to click it. Go on, just click it. Oh, click it, man.